This video is brought to you by Ridge Wallet, a slim front pocket wallet available in carbon fiber and titanium. With more than 250,000 sold, a lifetime guarantee and free shipping, get 10% off with the code GOLDFISH at ridgewallet.com. Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another Instant Deck Tech. So as you know, Wednesday means it's Wild Card Wednesday here in Instant Deck Tech land, and we have a ridiculously wild modern deck to look at this week. This is ur-draogn Reanimator. Comes to us from Sakamoto Hiroashu, who took it to an undefeated finish in a very small Japanese tournament. So congrats to Sakamoto on just a ridiculously sweet deck. A quick reminder before we break down ur-draogn Reanimator for Modern. If you enjoy this deck and you want to see it made into videos, take a minute, click the like button, the subscribe button, leave a comment, anything you can do to support your deck, because whichever deck is most popular gets a shot at being made into videos next week. So, ur-draogn Reanimator is all about reanimating dragons, but before we talk about the dragons and the combo finishes and the ridiculousness, we got to start with the support card. So, for our deck to function, step one is getting dragons in our graveyard. So for this, we have Faithless Looting, just drawing 2, discarding 2, flashing it back if we need to, the modern version of Brainstorm, if some have called it, and then also Cathartic Reunion, which is just a way to stock our graveyard further, discarding 2 to draw 3. So these cards just help make sure early in the game, turn 1, turn 2, we're getting dragons into the graveyard. And why do we need the dragons in the graveyard? Well, because step 2 of the deck is reanimating our dragons. So for reanimation, we have one primary option, and Goryo's Vengeance. This is our best reanimation spell. Sure, we lose the creature at the end of turn, but we get back a dragon with haste for just 2 mana, smashing our opponent. We also have Footsteps of the Goryo, which is kind of a backup reanimation spell. Unburial Right's very good, just a little bit slow, but we can cast it and then flash it back, so 2 dragons for the price of 1 once we get to it. So these cards get our dragons back from our graveyard. Then before we talk about the dragons themselves, the last support piece in the deck is Pentad Prism. So Pentad Prism, it's important to our combo kill that we're just about to talk about, but it also gives us a way to maybe just cast our dragons. We have 20 dragons in this deck. Having a little bit of extra mana and also fixing our colors to make sure we can cast the right dragon at the right time, because we have 5 color cards in this deck. Really, really important to the deck. But casting our dragons is our backup plan. Instead, our main plan is to reanimate the dragons and hopefully just win the game right away. So our namesake card, the most important card to our Dragon Reanimator deck, is Scion of the ur-draogn. So Scion, 1 mana each color, you get a 4/4 flyer, you can pay 2, search for a dragon, put it in your graveyard, and Scion of the ur-draogn becomes a copy of that creature until end of turn. So obviously one way we can win with our deck is play Scion using maybe our Pentad Prism mana as early as turn 3, I believe, and then we can just start getting our crazy big dragons, copying it. We're also getting the dragons in the graveyard so we can reanimate them. So that's kind of one way we can win. We can also just discard our Scion, reanimate it with haste, and win the game right away. So how do you win the game in one shot with Scion of the ur-draogn? And it actually involves tutoring up 2 different dragons in a turn. So to win the game with Scion, we reanimate it for 2 mana. Then our first tutor is Molten Steel Dragon. So Molten Steel Dragon is a weird dragon. It's a fine dragon, a 4/4 for 6 mana, but it has Phyrexian mana involved. The bigger deal is it has a fire breathing type effect where you can pay a mana to give it +1/+0 until end of turn, but it has that in Phyrexian mana. So if we reanimate our Scion of the ur-draogn for 2 mana with haste, get ready to attack, we pay 2, we tutor up Molten Steel Dragon. Molten Steel Dragon goes in the graveyard, Scion becomes a copy of it, and then what we do is pay 12 life, pump our Scion of the ur-draogn up to a 10/4, and then we need 2 more mana to tutor out 1 more dragon, or 1 of 2 other dragons. We have Skithiryx the Blight Dragon and Atarka World Render. So Skithiryx, pretty simple, it has Infect, so we're going to have a 10 power infecting version of Scion of Urza, which is actually a Skithiryx. and we can just hit our opponent with that hasty Scion of Urza / Skithiryx copy and kill our opponent with Infect with one shot. We can also, if our opponent has blockers or whatever, pump more why Scion is a Molten Steel Dragon, and then get a Tarka the World render to give Scion double strike, essentially, a 6/4 double striker that's been pumped a bunch of times. Then we smash in, hit our opponent, win the game that way by trampling over with one huge double striking Scion of ur-draogn. So those are kind of our combo kills that we're trying to set up where we can just win in one shot with like 6 mana with Scion of the ur-draogn. We also have just a bunch of sweet dragons for different situations. Probably the next best dragon to get is Nicolebolas. So with Nicolebolas, we can either reanimate it directly, or we get our Scion, we attack with our Scion, we pay 2, we dump Nicolebolas into the graveyard, hit our opponent is going to lose their entire hand. We just wipe out their entire hand. Gonna be really hard for our opponent to recover. And one of the sweet things about this deck is it's not that ridiculous that we can just do that on turn 2. Like, imagine us being on the play, and we just go turn 1 Faithless Looting, discard Nicolebolas, turn 2 Goryo's Vengeance, get back Nicolebolas, wipe your hand, 0 cards. Maybe our opponent has 1 land in play, 1 or 2 lands depending on play draw, and that should just close out the game just as effectively as an Emrakul or anything. Like, how does our opponent reassemble and win from that scenario? So a great target for our Scion and for our Reanimation. Then we have a bunch of removal dragons. So Dragon Lord Atarka, not great with Scion because it needs to enter the battlefield, but it's great with like Footsteps of the Goryo, Goryo's Vengeance. Get it down, wipe out our opponent's board full of creature, hit for 8, sure it goes away, but then we get it back. Balefire Dragon can sweep away an entire board full of creatures if our opponent doesn't have any blockers. We just get in with it, hit our opponent for 6, also 6 damage to all of our opponent's creatures, so like our Wrath Dragon, and then Sluimgar. At first I was like, why would we want this when we have Balefire Dragon? But the big deal here is if our opponent has like Lingering Souls or something, which could chump our Balefire Dragon so we never get that combat damage trigger, Sluimgar gets around that by just giving everything our opponent controls -1/-1 when it attacks. So we wipe out a whole board full of Lingering Souls tokens, Young Pyromancer tokens, things like that. So these are the dragons we tutor up when we need removal. Ojutai is probably just our most castable dragon. I'm assuming if we're tutoring with Scion of the ur-draogn, most of the time we're getting a bigger, badder dragon. Most of the time if we're reanimating for one shot with Goryo's Vengeance, we'd rather have a Tarka or a Nicolebolas or something. But Dragon Lord Ojutai, we can just play Prism on turn 2, turn 3 Ojutai, start drawing more cards, finding our ways to draw and discard, finding our reanimation effects and so forth. Karthus, not really sure about this one. It's big, it's flying, it has haste. I guess if we're somehow reanimating multiple dragons in a turn and they don't have haste, it works. One of the weirder dragons in the build though. As far as the mana base, the 2 sweetest lands are Haven of the Spirit Dragon, Cavern of Souls. So Haven gets back dragons from the graveyard if they happen to die and fixes our mana. Cavern, if we're actually casting our Scion of the ur-draogn, makes it uncounterable, also fixes our mana. Otherwise, we're not going to talk about all the lands because there's just a million of them. It's a million 1-of shock lands, a million 1-of, 2-of, 3-of fetch lands, a couple of random dual lands like Blackcleave Cliff. So basically just all the lands imaginable to try to make the 5-color mana base work. As far as the sideboard, we get some dragon customization. For control matchups, Dragon Lord Ojutai fights through counters, also fine against aggro because of lifelink. Icefall Regent, sweet at tapping down a big creature like, I don't know, an Emrakul or any other massive Eldrazi type threat. Glorybringer gets in some more damage, castable, also gives us some additional removal. Then we have some dragon theme removal and Foul Tongue Invocation, Draconic Roar. Abrade hits artifacts and creatures, some sweepers, and Batu's Last Reckoning, Kozilek's Return, Pyroclasm, and that, my friends, is the beauty of ur-draogn Reanimator for Modern. And that's better It's a deck tag for today. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.